In Washington, U.S. Secretary of State Mike Pompeo hosted the first ever worldwide conference on religious freedom. In a recent interview with David Brody, Pompeo said his Christian faith explains why this issue is so important to him.
Unfortunately, religious persecution is nothing new, and in recent years it's grown. In an attempt to stop that trend, more than 80 high-level government ministers will come together to promote religious freedom. Secretary of State Mike Pompeo tells CBN News it's a major priority for this administration.
The advancement of religious freedom matters to every individual in every country. The human dignity, the human right attached to religious freedom, I feel personally, I know President Trump does as well.
The overall concept is to show evidence that greater religious freedom means less terrorism and a better economy. Experts say roughly 3/4 of the world's population face some restriction on religious freedom. As for Christians, 1 out of every 12 experience extreme persecution in the most dangerous countries on the State Department's worldwide watch list.
Not every country will achieve the level of religious freedom that we have here in the United States, but we think we can advance it all across the world by bringing together folks from all faiths, and frankly those who have no faith. But their capacity to practice religion in the way that they choose is important for the world.
For Pompeo, this is also personal because his evangelical Christian faith compels him to take action.
Your faith, I know, is very, very important to you. You've talked about this in public before. So why this seems, there's the public policy aspect, but it's also personal.
Look, it's very consistent with what the Trump administration is trying to achieve with respect to religious freedom. But it also fits with my worldview. I'm an evangelical Christian. I know that not everyone shares that faith, but it's important. It's important not only that Christians, but people of all faiths have the capacity to worship in the way that they desire.
One of the biggest offenders is North Korea, and Pompeo already has his hands full there, negotiating with Kim Jong-un to get rid of his nuclear weapons.
We need to see Chairman Kim do what he promised the world he would do.
North Korea's human rights record is just as suspect as their inaction on nuclear weapons. The country ranks #1 as the most dangerous country for Christians. While Secretary Pompeo wouldn't reveal his conversations with Kim, he did make one thing very clear in our interview.
I want your viewers to know that the United States rarely has an encounter with a country where we don't raise human rights concerns where they exist. We know the history there in North Korea.
And the U.S. hopes to write a new chapter with this historic conference to stop religious persecution and make a difference around the world. David Brody, CBN News, Washington.